Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Tucker. I've pulled up my Moodle page because I kind of suspect there's some of you that still haven't gone to Moodle to see what I've put out there for you based on a couple of emails I just got today. So anyway, when you log into College Prep Math 3 in Moodle and you go to module, well, first of all, there's a welcome page. Your course information is your syllabus, the rotation schedule, your daily schedule if you lost it, how to sign in to remind, your notebook dividers. There's some sub-notebook dividers that I think would be cool to print out, and a policies page. If you go into Module 1, here is the vocabulary sheet for Module 1. Here's the absolute value practice. I just made a video on that for you. Properties of real numbers. We probably should run through that real quick in a video. Notes on exponents review. I'm going to do that with you in a minute, but I also wanted to show you that all of the lectures, the PowerPoints for the lectures that I do are in here, and even if I didn't do it, my PowerPoint lectures are in here. Just have to click and open it up. Here are files on the small group activities that we've been doing. Here's 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, and 2.8. So if you've lost those or you weren't able to make it to class, you can find those sheets here. And here is the Module 1 review, review number 1 and review number 2. So if you're not in class, you can still do the review. Or if you lost it, here's where you're going to find it. Okay? So here's what I want to, I'm going to actually switch over to a Word file, and I'm going to do a quick review on exponents because they can be a little tricky. Okay, so I switched over here to my file, my Word file, and I passed these out on the first day of class, but we haven't had time to look at it, and it's kind of expected that you already know this, but it can get a little tricky. So let's go over exponents real quick. Exponents that are natural numbers are shorthand notation for repeated factors. So if I've got 3 to the 4th power, the 3 is my base, and the exponent of 4 is my exponent. It's also called the power, and it's just shorthand for taking the base of 3 and multiplying it by itself 4 times. So 3 to the 4th power is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay? Note by orders of operation that exponents are calculated before other operations, but it's also calculated after any math inside of parentheses. Okay? You have to do parentheses first, and then you do exponents. Then multiplication and division, then your addition and subtraction. All right? Okay, so we need to be careful here, and we also need to be careful here because they're actually telling us 2 different things. So I wanted to go over this so that you guys kind of have an understanding of what's going on here. If you've got parentheses wrapped around like the -2 here, raised to the 2nd power, -2 is your base. Okay? It says take everything inside the parentheses and make it your base. So what it's telling you to do is take -2 and multiply it by itself twice. A negative times a negative is a positive, and 2 times 2 is 4. So -2 times -2 is +4. All right, here, your base is -2, and it's being raised to the 3rd power. So we have -2 multiplied by -2 multiplied by -2. I call this expanded form. -2 times -2 is +4, but you now have to multiply that by the last -2. +4 times -2 gives you -8. Right? -2 raised to the 4th power means -2 times -2 times -2. These 2 together make +4. +4 multiplied by this -2 gives you -8. But now we're going to take negative 8 and multiply by this last negative 2. And negative 8 times negative 2 gives you positive 16. All right, and I've done this one for you. Negative 2 raised to the 5th power, you're multiplying negative 2 by itself 5 times. Negative times negative is positive, times another negative is negative, times another negative is positive, times another negative is negative. You get negative 32. All right? And it's kind of interesting how we go positive 4, negative 8, positive 16, negative 32. Kind of interesting. Okay? I'm just going to point that out for the moment. See what you think about that. Okay. Let's do the other side over here. Over here, your base is just 2. It is not that negative sign. That negative sign is like taking negative 1 and multiplying it by 2 squared. Okay, you're going to take 2 times 2, which is 4. Now multiply your 4 by the negative 1, and you get negative 4 for an answer. All right? In this instance right here, I've got negative 2 to the 3rd power. Since the negative 2 is not in parentheses, the negative is not part of your base. What it's saying is take negative 1 times 2 raised to the 3rd power, which is the same as negative 1 times 2 times 2 times 2. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 multiplied by 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 multiplied by the last 2 is negative 8. All right, same deal here. The negative is not part of the base. This is just 2 raised to the 4th power. Now make it negative. It's like taking negative 1 and multiplying by 2 to the 4th. Negative 1 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. Take 16 now times your negative 1, and you get negative 16. And I've done the last one for you. Negative 2 raised to the 5th power, the base is just the 2, not the negative. So the negative is a negative 1 that's being multiplied by 2 to the 5th power. Your answer is negative 2. Okay? And I want you to try entering a few of these into your calculator. On a TI-30, the ones that you guys are supposed to have in class, your power button looks like this. Okay, it looks, I call it an up caret. All right, so take this, negative 2, press this button and enter 5, and hit the equal sign and see what you get. Then do this one. Take negative 2 without the parentheses, hit this this power button, the exponent button, to the 5th power and hit equals and see what you get. Okay, now I want you to compare. We're going to compare and contrast. I want you to compare this side over here to this side over here. Actually, I'm comparing these two here and these two here. I'm wanting you to look at what's going on here. I mean, the numbers all look the same. The only difference is I have parentheses and then I don't have parentheses. Without the parentheses, is there something that you noticed? When you have negative 2, your base raised to whatever power, but there's no parentheses, what did you notice? Yeah, the answers all come out negative. Over here, they flip-flop between positive and negative, positive and negative. Here's a positive, here's a positive. With the base in parentheses, but it's negative, every time you have a even exponent, you get a positive number. When your exponent is odd, you get a what? Yeah, you get a negative number. And you don't have to remember that. You don't have to remember any of that as long as you write it out in expanded form. Well, you really can't see that, can you? Expanded form is this right here. just do what the exponent's telling you to do, and you should always get the right answer if you're writing it out in an expanded form. But I'm also going to tell you, you're allowed to use a calculator on the test, so you're allowed to do this. You know, go ahead, if you can use a calculator, go ahead and double check it with that. All right? Flip it over, let's do some problems on the back. Okay, why don't you go ahead and do these problems, and pause the video here, do the problems, get an answer for each one of the problems, and then start the video again, and then we can compare answers. Okay, so let's pause the video. Okay, you're back. I hope you got some answers. I'm going to pretend I don't have a calculator and write these all out in expanded form. Here I've got 3 to the 4th power means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, 3 times 3 is 9, and this 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 9 equals 81. Did you guys get 81 for the first one? Okay, on B, your base is -5, and the exponent says multiply it by itself twice. Negative times negative is positive, and 5 times 5 is 25. If you're a little shaky on your integers, your operations with integers, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing with positive and negative numbers, please use your calculator. Let your calculator help you. On number C, I have negative 6 raised to the 2nd power, but the only thing being raised to the 2nd power is the 6 and not the negative sign because there's no parentheses. This is the same as taking -1 and multiplying it by 6 squared. And 6 times 6, 6 squared is 6 times 6. That's -1 times 36, which gives us -36. Is that what you got for an answer? Well, good. Good for you. All right, a couple more here. All right, I am going to use my orders of operation, and I'm going to do the math inside the parentheses first. I'm going to take 2 times -4, and that gives me -8, and it's still inside parentheses, raised to the 3rd power. So that means I have -8 times -8 times -8, okay, which equals, I'm going to take this negative times negative. Negative times negative is positive. That's positive 64. Now I'm going to multiply it by this -8. Well, I have a positive 64 multiplied by -8, so I get -512. Okay? All right. Here on E, I've got multiplication right there. And I have an exponent there. Which one do you do first? Yeah, orders of operation says do your exponents first and then your multiplication. So I've got 3 multiplied by. Now the negative is not part of the base. It's -1 times 4 squared. Okay? 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times the -1 is -16. All right? Now, I've got a positive times a negative. I get negative, and then I'm going to take 3 times 16, and I get 48. All right? Well, good luck with this, you guys. I'll see you in class.